Hi, my name's Louise and I have mixed spasmodic dysphonia, primarily abductor though. I was a chatterbox. My dad said that I was born vaccinated with a gramophone needle. Didn't stop talking all through my adolescence. A real people person, somebody who was generally always had something to say. First got feedback from other people that they were struggling to hear on a telephone. I was speaking and they actually thought that I was on a mobile phone and that the signal was cutting out, so there were interruptions, and I thought, oh, there's something funny going on, but I didn't really think it was that serious until I noticed that it was becoming more and more prevalent. And at the time I was doing a lot of public speaking, a lot of conference presentations, and confidence had never been an issue, but suddenly I started to doubt myself and doubt whether I could really do the job well. So I went to see somebody, and so the story began. I'm married, thankfully, to the same fella for a very long time. We've been through many ups and downs, but this I have to say is one of the most challenging things, because it's such a natural thing to communicate, to talk. And when communication becomes impaired because you have to be looking at each other, not talking side by side in the car, you have to turn the radio down, you have to turn the air conditioner off, you have to not call out through the house. It changes the way you relate, it changes your social life. So we were always people to go out with groups of friends, and I started pulling back from that and started to maybe try and control the people that we were with and the places that we went, because it was just too hard. Losing part of my personality. So I'm getting emotional, it's so silly. Yeah, it's that thing about your voice is so much about how you see yourself, and when part of that goes, you know that you're still the same person, but you don't feel that same person. As I said, I work in health promotion, so being able to channel what I know professionally in that way into an area that's really close to my heart, and to support other people and to feel like we're doing just a little bit to make a difference, so that more doctors are aware, not just of the diagnosis, which is important, but of the human impact. The worst advice. I had, I don't know so much about worst advice. Well, yeah, perhaps it was. I had an encounter with a speech pathologist who I was in a particularly emotional state one day when I went to see her. And I'd been locked in a car park that required a boom gate to open, and I couldn't speak to the speaker, so I was stuck in my car. I'd been on a teleconference at work where no one could hear me, and I'd had a really awkward run-in with somebody in a shop. So I arrived for this appointment feeling pretty beaten, and I was teary, and what I got greeted with is, what's wrong with you? You need to just suck it up and get on with your life. This is the new you, and you need to find ways to deal with it. But that wasn't helpful. That was really probably what I needed, was somebody to just go, yeah, it's pretty shit. A little bit of empathy. Instead, what I got was, yeah, suck it up, this is life. They range. range from finding it incredibly fascinating and saying, tell me more, I want to learn, to going, oh, yeah, right, never heard of that, and move on. I just wish that voice, then the value of voice was put up there the same as vision and hearing. Because we do that, we scream, we go and have our eyes tested, we have our hearing checked, we ensure that those things are maintained, but nobody ever thinks about what the impact is of not being able to pick up a phone and have a conversation. Oh yeah, I had that. I know exactly how you feel. I lost my voice for 3 days. And I go, oh, that's fabulous. Yeah, it's terrible. Tried losing it for 15 years. And that's, I suppose it's in a small way, it's their way of saying, I get it, and it must be awful, but it's hard to hear that. The biggest thing is being patient. There are good days and there are bad days. In fact, there are good hours and there are bad hours. It's such a changeable feast. Being patient, giving you space when you want to say something and not, this is the classic, not talking over you. Open your mouth to say something and somebody zooms in and that thought is lost. So actually getting eye contact, being engaged, possibly there's a symptom of the world we live in anyway, that people are not perhaps as connected when they're communicating. But I think when you're struggling to get those words out, it's really important to know that all of the effort that's going into doing this now is physical, and you don't want to waste that. Just have somebody talk over the top of you. I've learned tricks, and I'm sitting before you now. I am using some of those tricks, and one of them is the gravelly tone that you hear in my voice. If I drop my voice a little lower and speak a bit like a Kardashian, that's actually helpful. For a period, I think I could say I'm the queen of neuroplasticity. Over the years, I've learned to speak with accents, and it works for a while, and then it's almost as though your brain says, okay, enough of that, and it switches off. I learned to speak on inhalation at a period of time where I had no spasms whatsoever. If I sucked my words and spoke backwards, it's not particularly healthy, it's incredibly exhausting, but it gave me a smooth voice, a very whispery voice, but it was smooth. All of which were tricks that I worked through with my speech pathologist at different times. You know, try this, try that. And of course, you know, changing the way that I was breathing was helpful. Nothing has fixed it, but things have been temporary. It's like having a toolbox of, in a particular situation, and you know when it's not good, and you can pull something else out and give that a try. So that's been great. You're never going to believe it, but you're going to run out of words. Your voice, it feels sometimes like that, like I spoke too much and therefore I ran out. It's not going to be easy, but there are good people and there are strategies, and it's actually going to be okay, and maybe they're going to make a difference.